The following podcast contains strong language and alternative facts. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Heel Podcast. Over the airwaves and under the influence, we are Turning Heel.
Let's get this shit started. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Turning Heel podcast with me, the Griz. And with me this week is Robert, the robot. Activate. Ah, you're singing robot this week?
No, I just got the new upgrade.
Ah, so what are you upgraded to now?
Point dur.
Installed by Rob Schneider.
As the stapler.
He's going to find out that being a stapler isn't so easy. Well, we're back once again. We had some technical issues with the last episode that we meant to have out last week, so sadly that is another one lost to the annals of time. Rest in peace, episode. A moment of silence for episode. That's
anyway.
We are back for another jam-packed week of professional wrestling, but not anywhere near as jam-packed as what next week is going to be. Robert, are you looking forward to 18 more hours of wrestling on top of your weekly wrestling?
Oh, God. I'm actually thinking about protesting. Enough is enough.
And it's time for a change?
Yes. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Well done.
Wow. Well, yes. So, I guess we've got the go-home show to NXT TakeOver. And then we've got all the go-home shows next week for going into Mania.
And technically, next week's SmackDown isn't even a go-home show. It's like the pre-show.
Yeah, it's the We're Already There show.
Because they're doing the Andre the Giant Battle Royal on SmackDown, aren't they?
Are they? I don't know that yet. So
yeah, I think they announced that they're doing an Andre the Giant Battle Royal in a 4-way SmackDown Tag Team title match.
Sweet. So SmackDown Mania next week. Oh God, that means I'm going to cover it, doesn't it? Shows with consequence. Listen, then, if you and me can get through on the other side of next week, still on talking terms, it's going to be a miracle, I can tell you.
Yes, it will be.
I have already forewarned my other half. Look, WrestleMania week is going to get fucked, so just try and bear with me.
I'll try and figure out something for Ben to do. Ben, go build something in the garage that'll take you 3 weeks, so I can get through all these fucking shows.
Build a shed. Right, yeah, so we may as well start getting into it this week, because I highly doubt I will have time to cover Dark, Elevation, and Dark next week, so we'll maybe see what we can do. Or maybe I might just throw them out as wee 10-minute episodes, of just me.
Oh, that might be fun.
The possibilities are endless. Gulp. So, anyway, let's get into it with J.D. Drake and Rolf Ziggler taking on the Best Friends. Bill Collier took on Jon Moxley. Cody gave his belt to a fan at ringside before the show, but they just had to show up. Layla Gray, on their 0-2 record, took on Penelope Ford. Rex Lawless and Milk Chocolate, with their 0-0 setup, took on the Gun Club. Chandler Hopkins took on Joey Janela. Alex Gracia on her 0-4 record, taking on Thunder Rosa. Vipress 0-1 versus Layla Hirsch. Danny Limelight taking on Kazarian with his 3-1 record. Fuego del Sol.
Fuego!
with a 0-6 record, taking on Ethan Page. Jasmine Allure and Tesha Price taking on Tay Conti and Hikaru Shida. Jack Evans took on Jungle Boy, with Jungle Boy coming out the winner in that one. Aaron Fry and Adam Priest with their 0-0 records took on QT Marshall and Lee Johnson. Kylan King with her 2-1 record took on Rio Mizunami. D3 and Vario Morales with their 0-0 record took on 5 and 10. Then we get a Bear Country backstage package, which leads into Bear Country versus Private Party, with Private Party getting the roll-up victory after Marco Stunt comes out attacking Matt Hardy, distracting Bear Country, allowing a member of Private Party to roll him up and get the tights. And this is another kind of step towards something that is announced for next week with Bear Country and Jurassic Express. And your main event was Scorpio Sky taking on Mike Seidel, with Scorpio Sky getting the victory. Then, after the match, Ethan Page comes out and attacks Seidel, and Sky and Ethan Page seem to be a tag team now, which we kind of get a wee bit more of when it comes to Dynamite. So the top 5 picks for this week of AEW's Dark Elevation was Bill Collier, big cast looking guy. But he wasn't bad. He had a pretty decent match against Moxley. Chandler Hopkins, who was surprisingly doing hella well against Joey Janela in his match. Danny Limelight does get another shout out, as he had a good match with Kazarian. Jasmine Allure and Tesha Price, they actually kind of worked well as a tag team, so maybe there may be something for them to look into going in the future. And number 5 was Kylan King, because she had a hell of a match with Rio Mizunami. And that would probably be my recommended match of the week for YouTubers. YouTubes, indeed. All YouTubes. So we'll move on to AEW Dark very swiftly, which was the shorter show of the week, surprisingly. So, Dark had the team of Milk Chocolate taking on Butcher and the Blade. Mandy Rankowski, with her 2-2 record, took on Jasmine Allure and her 0-3 record. Dean Alexander and Justin Shaw, with their 0-0 record, took on the Chaos Project. Sonny Kiss took on Angelico, with Angelico coming out with the victory there. Casey Navarro and Adam Priest take on Stunt and Luchasaurus. Viperist took on Diamante with her 0-2 record. Jack St. Patrick, Chandler Hopkins, and Sage Scott versus Team Taz. Ashley Fox, Delme Exo, and Vert Vixen took on Swole Red Velvet and Kylan King. The Sea Stars.
The Sea Stars are back.
After this match, Jade came out and started verbal altercation with Red Velvet, but their partners came out and held them back. But they're still pushing that any chance that they have. Sip of vodka for the working man. Mike Magnum, with his 0-2 record, took on MT Nakazawa. Baron Black and John Skylar took on Miro and Kip Sabian. And then in your main event, Max Caster took on Alex Reynolds, with Max Caster picking up the victory with using the chain to pop Reynolds in the face, and then the diving elbow drop.
Boo.
Boobies. So the top 5 for Dark are going to be Milk Chocolate, who I feel like I barely even actually seen them wrestle over the course of the 2 nights, but I just really enjoyed the gimmick of having one black guy, one white guy, and it's like, we're Milk Chocolate. Let's see more of that. It reminds me of PCW's old tag team Interracial Love. And it was it Ashton Smith? No. I don't think it was. Ryan Smile, maybe? And Charlie Preston. Is that his name?
I don't know.
It's Charles Sterling.
Oh, I remember
I
him.
think, yeah, I think Charlie Preston might have been his old name or something, or maybe I'm just a fucking idiot. Yeah, but it's the same kind of gimmick as that. Up next is Maddie Winkowski, who got herself yet another victory and is starting to very much climb up the women's division ladder. Third is Casey Navarro, just purely for the fact that during the match when he was in the ring with Marco Stunt, he was hovering over him and just goes, "Man, if people call me small, I look like a giant next to this guy." Casey, never change. In fact, do change. Start becoming winning. Start becoming winning. Number 4 is Vipress, who I just really enjoy her gimmick and her look and everything. She's not bad in the ring. I think there's something that they can do with her if they sign her. And number 5, because they were a team this week, I'm taking the whole collection of Ashley Vox, Delmy, Exo, and Vert Vixen, because the three of them worked together very well as a team. Like, even to the point where I thought that Vert Vixen was in the team because she was wearing the same color gear as the Sea Stars.
Well, that's what you like to see.
Yeah.
What is it? Cooperation?
Camaraderie?
Cohesiveness, that's what I meant to say. Cohesiveness.
Yeah. God, I can't say that word. Camaraderie. Is that it? I think that's it. That's what I'm going with.
We'll change the dictionary, don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. Goddamn right. The Griztionary. Well, that is Dark for this week. We'll be back with AEW shortly. But first, it's time for BTI. With Rohit Raju and Hernandez taking on Falaba and Mahabali Shira. With Shira going for a dive out to Hernandez on the outside. As Rohit distracts the referee, Hernandez uses a chair to smash over Shira's head. Rohit gets the Mumbai drive by for the victory, and Rohit is now pinned Shira. So, big angries. We'll go into actual Impact, which started off with Havoc and Nevaeh taking on Fire and Flavor. What flavor are you?
What flavour am I? Salted caramel.
I am fish food, because there's always something hard in there.
Oh, see, I was going to say you're like California Ghost Reaper. Yes, spicy wee meatball, yeah.
I'm so far off the menu that that you need to ask specially for me.
Mm-hmm. And you come with a warning.
So Steels takes Nevaeh out with a kick. Kira comes in with the neck breaker, and the Steels hits a splash, and Kira picks up the victory from that. Then Havoc and Nevaeh, they're kind of in the middle of the ring. Nevaeh doesn't look happy, but then, kind of clearer heads prevail, and then they just kind of like, yeah, it's okay, everything's okay. And then they start to walk away together up the ramp, and then, oh my God, Nevaeh turns, and there's a spear.
I thought it was going to be the other way around. I thought Havoc was going to turn on Nevaeh.
I kind of like the way that it's...
Yeah, it's almost like, do you remember Shane and Miz when they were teaming? Everyone thought Miz was going to turn on Shane.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit like that.
Yeah.
Just when you think you know what they're going to do, they fucking zag when you think they're going to zag.
They Rolf when they should have Dolphed.
Yes. They like to keep us on our toesies.
Tootsies. So
I think this maybe sets up a match at Rebellion.
Yeah, which is...
Hardcore Justice is too soon. And Havoc's in the
6 women
weapons match.
Yeah. I know, I can't help but feel as if Hardcore Justice might have been actually kind of a perfect place for it as well.
I think they'll want to give it its own time. So either Rebellion or push it back to the next Impact Plus special.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that may be.
Yeah, I'd say at this point it'd be big enough for it to be in Rebellion. But I'm quite surprised that they wouldn't just go for it right away.
No, you want to kind of build it and sort of build the anticipation and the tension.
Yeah, I'm probably going to imagine that maybe the kind of ending part of this match is going to come down to Havoc looking as if she's about to win and then maybe getting costed the match.
Yeah, maybe because she feels conflicted.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, we say all this and watch this. The match will take place on Impact.
Yeah, like Havoc will just win the match and then win the title, and then Nevaeh will just be the next challenger, and then that's it.
Yeah.
So after the spear was hit, Nevaeh starts screaming, "I thought I was the weak link," and then plants Havoc with her spinning Abigail style DDT, which is I like that move. It does look a bit convoluted to set up, but I feel like as soon as it kind of gets set up, it does look quite awesome.
Yeah, BT Gunn started doing it like 2 or 3 when he was ICW champion. He was using it.
Mm-hmm.
And on a darker note, the Velveteen Dream also used it as well.
I think even they were trying to imply that Alexa Bliss was going to start using that because of the way that he kind of starts out as it looks as if it's going to be a Sister Abigail. And then she changed it once into a DDT, but she rarely ever wrestles for you to see it anymore. So, backstage we get James Storm, who's been interviewed about having his 1,000th match tonight, and then he starts talking about how Eric Young has his followers, and it may look like he may be outnumbered, but he says, "No, I've got friends with me," and there's Big Jake, and then there's Chris Sabin, and then someone else walks in, and oh my God, it's WWE Hall of Famer Braden fucking Walker.
Poor Wildcat. He doesn't deserve this from you.
Not because they're Braden Walker.
They done him dirty.
Yeah. And who can forget the time he stood on the ramp with his hands on his hips?
No, I feel as though folk need to see a good Chris Harris match just to get that shite out their system. Watch his Texas Death match with James Storm from Sacrifice in 2006.
Agreed. And don't watch the Blindfold match from Lockdown of that year.
Yeah, don't watch the match from a month before. Watch the Texas Death match. Fucking amazing.
Yeah, they definitely owed us that after that abysmal Blindfold match.
Oh, all Blindfold matches are abysmal. There's no way of getting around it. But it
I
was
know.
really nice to see him back.
Mm-hmm. What if he'll do anything? Or if it was just a kind of one and done?
Judging by the size of him, probably one and done.
Yeah. Because I feel like they were trying to sort of build up something with him before the that special that was meant to happen at Mania last year.
Yeah, well, they teased an advert during this show for something.
Yeah, we'll go into that in a minute. But okay, well, we can move on, and then we'll get to that bit as you mentioned. Deanna and Susan are backstage, and then Susan says what Jazz done last week, taking out Kimberly, was reckless and unknockouts, which brings Jazz in to beat down Susan with a bin.
Beat that bitch with a bin. Beat that bitch with a bin.
Yeah, I'm gonna sleep because of y'all. Sami Callihan took on Larry Duh. Larry Duh.
La-da-da.
La-dee-da. End of this match comes with Larry D sending Sammy out the ring, and Sammy taking a nasty kind of shot on the apron just because he fell out the ring so awkwardly. D gets splashed for a close 2 count, and Sammy attempts a pile driver on the apron, but Larry fights out. Sammy claws the eyes and then hits the second rope pile driver for the win. It's the one that MGF uses.
Yeah.
And
Jeff calls it the Heat Seeker.
Yeah.
But for Sammy, I think I'm just going to call it the Assisted Cactus Special.
The Death Machine. Something.
Well, when he does the pile driver, normally he calls it the Cactus Special.
So assisted Cactus Special then. So then AC comes in and the two of them beat Sammy down after the match. And we then move on to Kenny Omega, Dawn, and Good Brothers, who just play a game of telephone backstage as they all whisper in each other's ear.
I see we called that Chinese whispers at school.
I think we did as well, but for some reason playing a game of telephone came to us quicker.
Never heard of that before. Every day's a school day.
So Trey is joined by Sami Callihan backstage, and Sami says, "Hey, you owed me one. I helped you out backstage." And Trey didn't think the same. He was just kind of like, "I don't owe you anything." And then Sami again says, "Well, that's because you lack passion." Sami says, "I'm going to give you one offer to be your mentor." And then Trey just keeps screaming the whole time. And then Sami says, "Next week, I'm going to make a tag match for us two against Triple XL." And then Trey's like, "Oh, why would I do that?" And it's like, "Well, you can if you want, but they'll guess it'll show your character." And I think I'm already done with Trey. I'm not behind this whole it
kind of felt like Sami's telling him he lacks passion, so Trey's response is to get louder.
Just stop screaming all the time. Like, stop being so angry all the time. It's more sad than anything else.
He needs to get back to the treehouse and take 5 minutes.
Just
calm down, tranquilo.
Just take a couple of deep breaths in the treehouse, and I'm sure you'll come out feeling a lot better. Because I'm bored of it already.
Yeah.
Like, way to really sour me on somebody, like, really quickly, but just having them just be pissy, moany, and just screaming and throwing stuff all the time. It's like, that doesn't make you cool. That makes you annoying and bratty.
Yeah, that's how it comes across. I think it's going to come. It might end up just being a fucking double turn, and Sami turns heel and Trey goes bad.
Yeah. Sami turns face, you mean?
Yeah.
That's the name of the show. Up next, we have Brian Myers versus Suicide. Suicide has his new T-shirt that has Masked Marvel on it. Ugh. Probably any day now. Marvel will be like, you can't use that word. So get them all you can.
Mm-hmm.
Myers. Yeah. Myers has the flatliner and the roster cut for the victory. There wasn't much to this match, and Myers then started talking about Cardona challenging him to a match last week, and then Myers says, yes, it's not going to happen. I don't want to do it.
Yep. He doesn't want to share the limelight with Cardona, so it makes sense. This is my place. This is where I came, and you followed me. Stop following me, you fucking weirdo.
Stalker bitch. God, I still have to do the podcast with you.
Mm-hmm.
I've not actually listened to it recently. I wonder if they still kind of keep character a little, or if they're just like, no.
See, I don't know, but I seen a clip of a live one that they done on Miz and Mrs. Basically, the whole episode was Miz had to go and pick up a Hasbro Kamala Moon variant for him, and he bought the other Kamala, like the regular one, and his daughter opened it up, and you didn't know what one she'd opened up.
Oh no!
Because he spent $50,000 on the figure, and he comes out and he brings out and it's like, look, I'm really sorry, my daughter got her hands on it. Here's a check for the figure, and then he walks away and then comes back out with the actual one that he'd bought and spent the money on.
Phew. Oh man, I know it's one of those things where you see stuff like that. It's like, I know I don't really care about that per se, but I can totally feel other people's passion when it comes to stuff like that and how that would be.
He didn't realise how the action figures were such a thing. So he then started going out and trying to buy his own. And he's like, oh, how much is this one worth? And the guy's like, $10. And he's like, okay, what about that one of my wife? $300.
Oh dear.
I think it's because Maurice doesn't have that many action figures.
Yeah, which will be interesting because Chris has assigned Miz and Maurice action figure. If he could get Maurice's signature, that would probably be worth something. Well, speaking of things of people's worth, Tommy Dreamer was backstage with Jazz, and Dreamer offers Jazz a shot at the Knockouts title, the Hard to Kill, but with the old
Justice.
Hardcore Justice, yes, that one. Thank you. With the old ECW style Ultimate Jeopardy stipulation on the line. So that means Jazz needs to give up something of her own to get this match. And so Jazz is like, you know what? I'm so at the end of it at this point that I'll put my career on the line if I don't win. Tommy tries to talk her out. She's like, no, it's decided. That's what I'm going to do. So Dreamer says, well, the match is made. You better not lose. And Jazz just kind of goes, she walks away and just goes, oh, tell me about it. I won't go.
You hope you don't lose. Don't I know it?
Up next to Tony and Tony, and one kind of interesting thing was the fact that they brought up the tag match with Kenny Omega and the Luchas, and how Kenny Omega is the mega champion, Laredo Kid is their cruiserweight champion, and the Lucha Bros are their AAA tag team champions right now. So there was so many of AAA's championship talent in that match.
Yeah, Triple AEW.
Hey, Triple TNAEW. Next we go to Swingers Palace, and then in walks Kenny and Don. Don mentions Johnny has been taking bets on Omega versus Swan, and he kind of says, "So what's everything looking like right now?" And Swinger's like, "Oh yeah, Daddy, it's about 1-1 right now." And so Don shows Swinger the one-winged angel video that they made, and Swinger's like, "Oh, I think that's kind of swayed me a little." So Don then puts $20,000 on Kenny Omega to win the world title match at Rebellion, which I hope is something that gets revisited.
Yeah, it has to, because basically what that says to me is if Omega wins, Swingers Palace is done.
Yeah, he's going to go bankrupt.
Maybe it's Swinger helps Rich Swann win so that he gets to keep the money.
Maybe.
While Swinger puts a bet on Rich Swann.
That would be hilarious. So TJP and Josh Alexander take on Ace Austin and Madman Fulton. Into this match came with there was a weird part in this match where there was a double team from Josh Alexander and TJP where Josh sends TJP into the corner where TJP hits a big boot on Fulton. Then Josh runs in and TJP didn't have time to get out of the way. So he just crumbled into TJP and Fulton. This is the point where Striker then starts claiming like, oh, was the timing off between these two? Because they're not a regular tag team. And then D'Lo was kind of like, or maybe Fulton held TJP. So like, I feel like both of them done a pretty good job of at least trying to cover up what was going on because it didn't seem very, very obvious. Josh Alexander hits a slam, but TJP gets the blind tag. He hits the Mamba Splash, but Josh Alexander pushes TJP off the cover, and then the two of them begin to argue. And then as Josh Alexander leaves the ring, Ace rolls up TJP, gets the 1, 2, and the 3. So Josh Alexander and TJP, they just can't get on. They just can't.
No. Oil and water.
So what do you think? This is, do you reckon that Josh versus TJP might be the kind of number one contenders feud going into Rebellion?
Yeah, it could be, yeah. But with them both losing to Ace, it's kind of like, right, okay, well, he's beat them.
Mm-hmm.
So, who else do you have?
Well, I don't think Josh has lost to Ace on like a one-on-one, has he? Because he lost to TJP a few weeks ago.
But normally, like, you get like the win over like the champion in like a tag match or his partner, and that sort of boosts you into the number one contendership.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
We shall see. So Don is backstage with Willie Mack. Don sniffs Mac's dip for some reason. He's like, you got some dipski here. And then he just kind of opens it, smells it, and he's just like, ugh, never mind. So then Don shows the Kenny Omega video to Mac. Swan then comes in, and Don says, oh yeah, we love your finisher. Kenny can't wait to kick out of it. Swan says, if you weren't my boss, I'd slap you in your face. So Don says, okay, well, for the next 10 minutes, I'm not the executive. So he kind of takes his jacket off, takes his glasses off, and he's like, for the next 10 minutes, I want to go. I'm going to be the old Canadian. And then he said whatever his like old nickname was. And then just as they were about to fight, Omega and the Good Brothers come in, bringing in Eddie Edwards and a big old brawl in the cafeteria. Now we get to what you were alluding to with the promo for Impact Wrestling Presents Coming Soon --T space G space --D space or dash. So I feel like that spells let's get ready.
I don't know. Like, I was thinking, is it maybe a tease for like King of the Mountain or something? Or could it be Lockdown's coming back?
Hold on a second. What if it was the debut of Adam Page and Impact? Because we're playing a game of Hangman.
It felt more of a tease of an event rather than a person debuting.
Mm-hmm. Unless maybe he's going to debut on that show.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a tease within a tease.
Oh, that's a good shout.
That actually just came to mind there, but I just thought like with the whole dashes on the the kind of words at the bottom. Like I feel like I figured it out to be "Let's get ready," but just the way that it's spelled, it's obviously as if it's like playing the game of Hangman with the dashes. Like maybe it's
maybe playing on people thinking about it like that. It could be anything, but for some reason I think it's got something to do with like old TNA, and they're bringing something back for one night only.
Hopefully they kind of get some of the stuff that they were planning on doing for that show last year, because that show was shaping up to be like show of the weekend.
Well, I'm getting my fingers crossed it's actually bringing back the Doomsday Chamber of Blood.
Or the match of 1,000 tags.
Last
10,000. Hell, even just Ultimate X. When was the last time we've had Ultimate X?
Yeah, but we've spoke about this before. The last time we had Ultimate X was like 2 WrestleManias ago.
Yeah.
And it was Johnny Impact that won it.
Fucking Johnny Impact.
Sorry, Johnny Drip Drip.
Did you hear the new music video?
Fucking love it.
I know.
I love it.
It was a bit long, but I thought it was quite funny and actually annoyingly catchy.
It's still not as good as Hey Hey Hey.
Hey, hey, hey. Ho, ho.
Hey, hey, hey. Ho, ho. The Universal Champion needs to go. Braun wet the bed till he was 6 years old.
As much as I don't like John Morrison, like, these bits are fucking hilarious. Although,
it's kind of like what the dirt sheet used to be. Before they tried to bring back the dirt sheet, and it kind of just didn't work as well.
Yeah, it didn't work well because they also still have Miz TV on a constant basis. So it's like, what's the difference between the two of these?
Yeah. So I think the new music videos is like the new dirt sheet, which I'm all for. Make more music videos.
Yes, and less John Morrison's crap hair.
Oh, I think his hair's fucking hilarious.
Really, I think it's horrendous.
I enjoy it.
Well, I guess we'll see. Because it's not going to be the last time I'll be bringing up John Morrison tonight, is what I mean when I say that. But backstage we had Rohit Raju and Hernandez. Rohit wants their tag team to be called LIX for Latin Indian Exchange. And Dez says, I don't want to be partners or I work for money, and by the looks of things, you're out, so get out.
And then it's not even fucking worth the money anyway.
No.
When was the last time he was paid to do a job and he actually done the job?
I think he beat Matt Cardona on a match, and...
No, Matt beat him, and then they get paired together in a tag match.
I'm trying to think, because he did win one match, and then you seen like Dez like pulling up Myers, like, right, where's my money, punk? Maybe he beat Eddie. I think that might be in it.
Maybe.
Going into that tag match at the last pay-per-view. Yeah, so I mean, I kind of agree as well, to be honest. Like, Hernandez isn't being that great anymore.
No, not even kayfabe.
Just old age, brother. Maybe consider stopping at least some of the stuff that you do.
Yeah.
So there was a young promo about his main event match. Not really anything there. And then Dreamer is with the women's division backstage. He announces that there's going to be a 6-way scramble where anything goes at the pay-per-view. Hard to kill justice. And
hardcore to kill justice.
Hard to core. Hardcore justice. So Deanna gets up and kind of storms off, and Susan starts talking to Dreamer. Dreamer starts asking Susan about Sue, and Susan thinks that he's talking about Deanna. So she's like, her name's Deanna. She's the Impact Knockouts champion. And Dreamer's like, yeah, I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about Sue. And she's like, no, don't know who Sue is. So they
started to... Sue was breaking through a wee bit, it seemed like. Until Deanna then shouted on Susan.
Is this going to be like a Freddy Krueger thing of if you don't talk about her, she doesn't exist?
Yeah, because Deanna doesn't want anybody to mention Sue in front of Susan. That's what basically the whole thing's been sort of based upon. Because I think if you remind Susan of Sue, it will slowly awaken Sue within her and bring back Sue Young.
Well, she is going to be part of this match, so it's going to be Susan, Havoc, Jordan Grace, Tennille Dashwood, Alicia, and Rosemary. And then everybody kind of gets up and leaves, and then Alicia goes up and asks Dreamer the rules of the match, like kind of sweetly. And Dreamer's like, "I don't understand you, Eddie. What do I do?" And she's just standing there going, "Please tell me the rules of the match."
My favourite bit of this whole bit was Rosemary getting up to Dreamer going, "Match time!"
And Dreamer's like, "I did used to do that." So next week,
this whole Hard to Kill, so there you've got me doing it now. Hard Justice show just kind of runs like an episode of Wrestle House.
Some matches just getting us backstage by doing match time. Well, as of right now, I only know 2 matches scheduled for it, without spoilers, obviously. But coming up next week on Impact, Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers take on Swan, Mac, and Edwards. So Big K-Dog is going to be wrestling on Impact next week.
Ooh.
Chavo.
Pew, 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 pew.
But we finally get to this Eric Young, James Storm 1000th match. Sorry about your damn luck that I had to be an Impact.
Well, it was his 1000th match in Impact.
I suppose.
His 1000th match, like, ever.
In his career?
Yeah, it's his 1000th match in Impact.
Man, why you step all over my joke, bro?
I'll fucking Texas two-step all over your face.
Well, don't JBL it up and fall.
Or start doing the fucking...
Nazi slip. So Storm hits the Eye of the Storm for a close 2 count. Eric Young connects with a neck breaker and a diving elbow for a 2 count. Dieter tries to interfere as Storm gets a roll up for 2. Then he's sent out to the outside. This causes a brawl between everyone. So Eric Young grabs his mask, but Chris Harris spots this, stops Young, clocks him with a punch, sends him into the ring. Last call super kick for the victory, and James Storm wins 1000 matches.
He wins all of the matches.
Every match, it just gets constant. It just gets changed into a victory now.
They made the right choice, I think, pairing him with Eric Young for this. Just history-wise. Because they done a feud in 2007, 2008, where they were like fighting over like the beer drinking championship.
Yeah.
And their wee segments there was like they were like really fun. And it just kind of reminds me of that and happier times.
I was so tempted to try and make a beer drinking championship at one point.
Well, out of the two of us, you would just be the undisputed champion because I don't like beer.
I know, I don't even like beer that much. It would be more of an alcohol drinking championship.
I see. Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah. Hey, let's get another one sorted for WrestleMania.
I'll bring out the cheeky Vamptos.
Hell, I'll be on board for that. So, speaking of WrestleMania, probably one of the very few companies that won't be involved at WrestleMania weekend is AEW, as we go back to Jacksonville for AEW Dynamite.
You're kind of wrong there.
Oh no, I am. Because, as was brought up last week, they're going to be doing their first ever non-televised event on the Friday. And I don't know why, but I am so salty about this.
They've also added another date due to the demand.
Really? What day?
I think it's the Thursday. I think it's the day before.
Okay, I would make no sense doing it on the Saturday, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
They better just release these at some point. Like, see if they release them as like a DVD or something. It's like that's the only way you get to see them is if you buy the DVD. I don't know. I'm feeling a bit betrayed. Like, no, I've seen everything that AEW's ever done. You can't just start doing house shows out of nowhere.
Yeah, even like their fucking dark matches they were airing.
I feel had. But we start off AEW this week with Christian Cage in his first match in 7 years against Frankie Kazarian.
He done really well.
Yeah. To be honest, something that we haven't spoken about much, but like Kaz is like in incredible shape these days.
Oh, Kaz is just a fucking machine.
Like he's doing insanely well, like recently, and I feel like this whole kind of storyline that's going on with him and Daniels and the whole whenever SCU lose their next match, they're going to retire. But I feel like after that happens, like Kaz has potential to like, you know, go on and be quite a decent sort of wrestler in the TNT division.
Yeah, and he's getting up. He's not young, but he's also not old either. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe at this point in his career, maybe like, it would be like a bit of a high note for him to break out solo and have all these fucking banging matches. Maybe sort of enter that sort of twilight of his career on a high.
Yeah, because he can still go. I mean, that match he had a couple of months ago with Adam Page, I remember I was like, fucking hell, Kaz, man. Like,
mm-hmm. the fact that we even remember it alone is amazing. But
yeah,
the fact we still talk about it, and it was like 6 months ago, and it was just a television match.
I know it was just a random match, but it just shows like how much that Kaz has kind of came on leaps and bounds this past couple of years. It's almost like he got in the SCU and just kind of was like cruising along with that. Now I think like anytime he gets a singles match, he goes out there to show like, remember, I can still do all this.
Yeah, I'm the fucking man.
Well, one thing that I forgot to mention during the Revolution rundown, the Elevation rundown, that's going to get difficult, was that Kaz won his match on Elevation with, he was teasing a new move. So the new move ended up being an old move, being the crossface chicken wing, which he used to tap out Danny Limelight with. And so that's kind of where we go into on this match, because at any point in the match, Kaz tried to lock in that chicken wing. So Cage even went with a kill switch attempt, but Kaz counters, almost dropping Cage on his head when he flipped him over at one point. Cage hits a reverse DDT and misses the splash. So Kaz locks in the chicken wing, but Cage gets the ropes. Kaz gets in Cage's face and almost loses off a roll-up out of that. Kaz hits his springboard leg drop for insanely close 2 count. And then Kaz connects with the flux capacitor for another insanely close 2 count. Cage manages to hit splash, gets a 2 count. Kaz tries going for the chicken wing again. Cage counters, sends Kaz into the ring post, hits the kill switch, and it's over. What an awesome match it was. And then last note was just proof that Christian still has it.
It?
It.
What's it?
What is it?
It's it.
What it is what it is. So backstage we get a Darby and Sting promo on Matt Hardy. Darby says that Hardy's body's breaking down and he doesn't have any real friends, he just buys them. And Hardy needs to earn Darby's respect because his money doesn't mean shit. There was a Jade sort of backstage promo, and I feel like she's getting a little bit better at talking, but I don't know.
Anytime Jade comes on the screen, I fucking stop and pay attention.
So obviously it looks like Jade is going to face Red Velvet at some point. But assuming that's going to be the last match in the feud, like, where do you kind of see Jade going from here? Like, why don't you give us like a bit of a detailed rundown of, say, what you would do with Jade for the next couple of months?
I would just have her just smashing bitches. Just keep having her maybe fight a lot of the women that appear on like Dark and Elevation, just to kind of keep her going and to keep her sort of ring ready and a bit more practice, because the match with Red Velvet and Cody, I think that was actually our very first. So I think just have her keep doing squash matches and sort of up her experience level a bit, and then maybe this time next year have her as a proper like number one contender for whoever the women's champion is, because I think she's going to be a big fucking moneymaker for AEW. She's got the look, her speech, her mic skills just keep getting better and better. And she's also just a fucking marvel to look at.
Yeah, I'd say that'll be the first thing. Definitely, is you got to build her up more.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think like this will be a good kind of thing where it's like starting her off on Dark and just slaughtering all the kind of very low grade talent, and then like start moving her in a couple of feuds with some of the bigger sort of wrestlers. See, even if maybe you can bring back Mel for a couple of matches, like that would be a good kind of bigger ghetto for Jade to kind of go through to begin with, and then maybe like start building up to the point where she finally goes up against like Nyla Rose.
Yeah.
And then kind of taking it from there. Because we've all said before, like she definitely is money. She's hella talented. It's just she needs to get everything else in the right place.
Yeah, and I think she's on the right track, just as long as AEW took her correctly. Because I think it's like if Jade was a bit more experienced, I think it would be hard to fuck her up. But just now, I think it would be very easy for them to do.
Yeah, it wouldn't take long.
No. Like, all it would take is maybe one loss to someone, and then that's right, okay, she's lost all her credibility.
Mm-hmm.
But whereas if she maybe picks up like quite a fair winning streak, then maybe, loses to like Red Velvet, slips in the banana peel, sort of type of finish. Then she goes back on it and just fucking mauls her and then destroys her in the next match. You could put that down to her own hubris.
Yeah, you could put it down to like Red Velvet having like slightly more veteran know-how and like managed to.
And Jade just being far too confident and cocky.
Like maybe do like the match where Jade would hit a big move and then pulls like Red Velvet up before the 3 count and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But we shall see. I'm actually kind of like, considering when Jade first came in, I was not like really interested. I was just like, who is this random person that nobody fucking knows that's clearly meant to be depicted as if she was somebody important?
Yeah, like it's Jade Cargill, and I'm like, who?
Yeah, I've seen that lassie for about the past month in the crowd at AEW, and you've never mentioned who that was ever.
Yeah.
And for some people, that may be the reaction of what happens in this next segment, as Cody Rhodes took on QT Marshall in an exhibition match with the guest referee of Arn Anderson. So Cody makes his way out into the arena, and already in the ring is QT Marshall.
I think they've played this whole QT Marshall thing out very, very well.
Even to the point where JR says, oh, well, why doesn't QT Marshall get a ring introduction?
Yeah, Cody comes out with all the fucking literal, well, excuse the pun, but smoke and mirrors.
Whoa.
And QT Marshall's just already in the ring. And what is the deal with everyone calling him fucking QT Marshall?
I know, it does my head in. That's not his name. It's Marshall.
Aye. Like, Fuego was doing it, but I think he was doing it to grab the piss out of him.
Mm-hmm.
But now it seems to have caught fire.
QT Marshall. Marshall. So after what seemed like an eternity, I fell asleep. When I woke back up, all of a sudden everything was going down because QT gets in the ring at one point and then just pops Arn Anderson square in the face and drops him. And then he gets out, stands on the ramp while everyone else is in the ring kind of staring at him. And then this is when Aaron Solo, Nick Comoroto, and Anthony Ogogo just start mauling people in the ring. This includes hitting Dustin in the face with a chair, which busts Dustin all wide open. Oh, big old gash on the head. Nick Comoroto then powerbombs Lee Johnson on the stage. QT then hits Arn Anderson's arm on the barricade again, and it looks like QT Marshall now has a group.
I'm beginning to get annoyed with EW. Too many fucking factions. Far too many.
Kind of, I would say.
What do you mean, kind of?
Because, yeah. It almost feels like New Japan in a way, where like everybody is associated with someone. Yeah. And if that's how they want it to be, then they really need to either go full hog with it or not at all. But it seems like AEW is kind of doing a in the middle thing here.
Because if looking at this way, within the space of 3 weeks, we've got 2 new factions. In fact, 3 new factions.
3 new factions.
Yeah, you've got the Pinnacle. That's one.
Hardy.
You've got the Hardy family office.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got this new one with QT Marshall.
Yeah, and QT Shiny Apples. which will be the official name brought to you by the Turngale podcast from now on.
The Granny Smith.
QT and he's golden delicious.
But I think the choice of the three is quite good, because say that Nick guy.
Nick Camarado.
I'd seen him before, and he just looks like a fucking heel anyway.
Yeah. He was a heel right up until he just started hanging about with QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes for no reason.
He looks like a big beast.
I mean, it's hard to look like a face when you come out in a straitjacket.
Yeah, and your trousers are also made out of straitjackets.
Aaron Solo, I guess, kind of another good shout. He's like, he's been at it for ages. As Ricky Starks has kind of alluded before, was his former tag team partner on the Indies. Mm-hmm. And then Anthony Go, probably the best one of the three, just purely for the fact that every week on Dark, at some point, Anthony was on commentary, and all he would do is spew over like how QT was one of the absolute best in the game, and like he doesn't want to be trained by anybody else. And for him, just to like seeing that, and then seeing, Anthony Go of all people, like backing up QT, it's like he's been saying that for months.
Yeah, so it's not as if it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it did come out of nowhere, but the reason for it hasn't come out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, Lee Johnson being the one that gets taken out purely for the fact that when Lee Johnson won, he mentioned everybody in the Nightmare Family except QT Marshall when he said thanks on training him.
Big Shotty winning his match and thanking everyone but QT Marshall, I think, is the origin of this story.
The catalyst.
The catalyst. Oh.
So, Nick Camarado then lifts up the entire set of steel stairs onto the ramp, and they hit a pile driver onto Dustin Rhodes on the ramp on the stairs. Then Ogogo pops Cody Rhodes in the liver or kidney with a body shot, which just takes him, crumbles him to the floor. Anthony Ogogo, obviously being a former boxer, and then they set up for the concerto on the stairs until Red Velvet runs out to Cody's aid, and then Team Golden Delicious leave. But I don't know. I do kind of like this in a way, because at least it's like it is essentially brand new talent.
Yeah.
But also, speaking of brand new talent, like this has me kind of excited. We get an Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky backstage segment where they're both kind of just sort of reciting something, like, but halfway through the sentence, it cuts to the other one continuing the promo. Mm-hmm. So it's the two of them cutting the same promo, but it keeps cutting back and forth. And then at the end, it pulls out, and you see the two of them are sitting next to each other, and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to take everything that we want, and it's going to start on Monday when we take on the Seidels.
I lost my shit during this.
Oh, really?
Not in a good way.
Not in a good way? Okay.
No. I actually watched this promo in my car before I watched Dynamite.
Uh-huh.
And I was just screaming in my fucking car. Because it's Adam Page's, this company's not giving me what they promised and all that nonsense. You've literally been in for a month. Calm the fuck down. Scorpio Sky, fair dues.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one. But Page, not. You've had one match on Dynamite? 2 at the most?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're bitching about?
Maybe. I'm not being used on proper television.
But you're just in the door.
Maybe that's where the ego comes from.
Well, probably. I'm probably overthinking it. But I just went, oh, I love you, but you're just being I don't know. I was about to say something there, but I held my words back. You're being a prick.
Oh.
There you go, live editing.
Yeah, maybe I should learn that sometime.
So we don't have to go wee wah. Griz said something bad. Wah, 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 wah.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Edit that out. If you remember, which we never really rarely ever do.
Mm-hmm. Because
So,
we just like to keep it real.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, if I'm going to say it, I'm going to say it. All of you out there listening, sure are listening. Red Velvet gets interviewed backstage about helping Cody, and then Jade comes in, knocks the shit out of her to the point that Jade almost broke her own heel of her shoe.
No, she did.
She did actually.
Aye, because she's like, oh, look what you done. You made me break my heel.
Oh, and there has to be a segment next week where Jade like gives Red Velvet like the shoe repair bill and be like, "You're paying that."
Aye, you're paying for my cobbler.
You're paying for me kicking you in your fucking solid ass head.
Your head broke my heel.
Then Moxley talks backstage. He talks about things that piss him off, and then he talks about how Benoni could be money for the company, but not if he can't really do that if he's dead.
I really enjoyed this. I thought this was very, very good.
I actually quite enjoyed it as well. And it's interesting to see here because Cesar Benoni already in the ring, but at ringside, not Peter Evelyn.
No, he's teaming up with Rolf Ziggler.
And J.D. Drake. Let's not forget.
I don't know who J.D. Drake is.
He has been multiple time AEW Dark Top 5 winner.
I've heard the name, but I couldn't point him out in a lineup.
Well, you can next week. Which we'll get to. Yes, during this matches again, where they promote the non-televised event that I am kind of feeling pissed off on. It's like I feel so left out. I thought AEW was for the fans.
As it's for the fans that pay to go see it.
No, I would pay. I probably would pay like $5 to like get to watch the non-televised event.
People are actually pretty pissy about it because they're saying, "Oh, you're just taking money away from independent workers who are working those dates by putting on this show."
Okay.
Cool.
I mean, what? So you're saying everybody on this roster is not allowed to eat either?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just another thing in a long line of people loving to moan about stuff.
Yeah, wrestling. I know that we have our moans about wrestling, but 9 times out of 10, if we don't like something, we don't watch it.
Yeah, I know that there's some people that are out there that every week that watch AEW just to poke fun at it, and then there's even people that like every week are like, "Ooh, AEW done this and they couldn't even get 1 million views." It's like, why does that matter to you? Like, why does ratings matter to you?
Because Raw's getting more, and you get these.
Yeah, Raw always get more.
You get your diehards on both sides that just like to poke holes in the other.
No. I know. I'm actually surprised that at this point I haven't seen any AEW fans being like, "We drove NXT away from Wednesday nights."
Because sure they don't give a fuck. Nothing's changing for AEW.
I'm sure there probably is people out there. I've just not seen them yet.
I've not seen anything like that.
But it's that. I mean, it's happy days for me.
I think it's happy days for everyone.
Yeah, well, we'll kind of run down what the state of wrestling television is probably going to look like after Mania at the end of the episode, and so we've got something to look forward to on the horizon. So Nemeth gets involved and gets a paradigm shift for his troubles. Bononi goes for the pump angle, but then Mox counters, gets on Bononi's back, and chokes him out for the victory. Which he did say he was going to do.
Yep.
Team Taz are backstage. They have a chat, slash fight, because Ricky Starks gets up and goes, I want to hear what Cage thinks. And Cage is like, oh, you're finally want to hear what I think after all this time? And then Taz is like, whoa, no, everything's fine. There sure is no dissension here. Moving on. Everything's fine.
I'm going to make a wee prediction.
Oh.
Starks versus Cage at Double or Nothing for the FTW Championship.
Nice. Winner stays in Team Taz.
Yeah. Or not even winner stays in Team Taz. I think by then Cage will leave.
Yeah, but he'll leave with the belt.
But he'll take the belt, so they'll challenge him for the belt to get the belt back.
Yeah. I like it. So after this, the Pinnacle are backstage. They are in Inner Circle's old locker room. And this is where MJF introduced their new stylist. He's like, look at all the colours for suits. And he's like, yeah, and now we can tidy this place up because the place is a fucking state. And he goes into the bathroom and the entire Inner Circle are just standing there. And he just kind of looks and goes, uh-oh. And then decides to run. Runs out the front door, only to realise not all the Inner Circle were there because Jake Hager was behind the door to the dressing room. And then this starts a massive brawl throughout the entire arena.
Why would you have your interior decorator hiding in the bathroom?
For the big reveal?
So open up the door to the locker room rather than the toilet door? Is the toilet going to be the interior decorator's office?
Well, I think partly what you're saying is the toilet smelled. So maybe they were going to start with the toilet and take it from there.
There was a couple of wee spots during this big brawl that that was fucking close.
Well, first of all, Sammy smashes Spears' head into a door.
That's his the move that T-Bar used to do. Was that his name? T-Bar?
From
Retribution?
Yeah.
And he went through the door and it looked as though he had his head off the door frame.
Oh.
The back of his head. And then not Cash, the other one.
Wheeler. No, that's his full name. Dax.
Dax ends up with basically a fucking vagina on the side of his head.
Oh yeah, fucking hell! There was blood everywhere.
He posted a picture of them cleaning the wound, and it was pretty fucking deep.
Yeah, and they didn't even show the part where that happened. There was just Dax was just gushing of blood at one point.
Yeah, I think that was intentional. It's maybe happened and they've edited it out.
Too violent, maybe?
Maybe, yeah. For their TV rating.
Or maybe they just never caught it.
Possibly that as well, but but the way that they done it, it's as if they filmed each bit of the brawl separately.
Yeah.
Because it would go, we're with Sammy and Sean Spears. Now we're with Wardlow and Hager. Now we're with Proud and Powerful and FTR, and then we're with MJF and Jericho.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it's as if they
I would like
filmed
to
it
know
for
what
different
actually happened.
segments
Yeah.
and edited it together. But it's screaming out fucking. I know I said Stadium Stampedes, but this is screaming out for blood and guts now.
Yeah. And I'm thinking at this point, the way that things are going with this and the HFO and Dark Order, I think we're doing it twice in one night.
No, please don't. No. I don't like that idea at all. Because then you're just going along the lines of WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And you're debuting your match and you're having two of it in the one night, and it's kind of like, right, cool. So one's not going to be as good as the other.
That, or they're going to build up the QT Marshall and Cody groups, and they're just going to do blood and guts all night long.
No, just
every match held in the double steel cage.
Double rings or nothing.
Yeah, which it probably will be for some people. Either you watch the show, otherwise you ain't watching.
Yeah, but no, I think if they're going to do blood and guts the first time they do it, there can only be the one.
Mm. Unless you just combine them and have like 12 on 12.
Oh, that'd just be too much to try and keep up with.
I know, it's hard.
If you're going to do 12 on 12, it would need to be somewhat cinematic. Just to be able to keep up with everything.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I don't know. Like, that's just what my feeling is. The way that they're building up two massive faction sort of things at one time, faction feuds, like, I genuinely feel like it's just leading to, all right, well, the first one will be announced, and then the second one will be like, well, you know what? See, if you're going to have those two cages there and those two rings there, we may as well do the same. Is how it sounds to me.
I would be open to, if they want to do like these two big faction matches, maybe do Dark Order against the Hardys, the Hardy family orifice.
Yeah.
They could maybe do that in Blood and Guts, and then have Inner Circle and Pinnacle do Stadium Stampede. Then that way it's similar but different.
Yeah.
And even though they lost the first one, technically Stadium Stampede is their match.
Yeah.
Because it was another thing that Jericho invented.
Yeah, and that came really off the cusp, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because they recorded that like 2 days before the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And it took like all night. Yeah, well, I wouldn't mind that. I would probably prefer that, to be honest, but I don't know if that's potentially what we get or not, but I guess we'll see. I like that idea more.
What?
Your idea.
Yeah, that they do similar matches but different.
Yeah. So like Wardlow gets put through a massage table, and then Jericho gives MJF a swirly, then sends him headfirst into a fridge. Then they throw everybody out, and they put the Inner Circle logo back on the door. The Inner Circle is back.
And they looked so badass.
Yeah, I know. Badass face faction there.
Yeah, or even sort of tweeners. Like, they could flip any way they wanted to fit into any program.
Yeah.
Almost like you could love them or you could boo them. And there wouldn't be a
But
wrong
you
answer.
gotta respect them.
There wouldn't be like a wrong answer.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I'm actually genuinely looking forward to this sort of feud with the Pinnacle and Inner Circle.
Yeah.
Like, there are a lot of like good bodies in there, and Sean Spears. So I think it'll be fun. And see, even if like 1 week, see if they were to do something like just the whole show was going to be like Pinnacle versus Inner Circle matches, where like say like they all went like 1-on-1, or they have like Proud and Powerful against like FTR, then had like MJF versus Jericho again, Wardlow versus Hager, Sean Spears versus Sammy Guevara, like, and then the main event being all of them against all of them, and like say an elimination match or something, and then just do that as like one Dynamite of just these two are had enough of each other to the point that they're just going to go essentially all night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wouldn't be opposed to that for
I like
a
that
special
idea.
episode of Dynamite.
I like that idea. However, I would swap Jericho with Guevara.
Okay. Yeah, no, you're right, actually.
Because then you keep them two just a wee bit, keep them separate just a wee bit longer.
Yeah.
And then you also get the comeuppance of MJF with Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, the whole fucking feud is basically being based around those two.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now with them doing all that they did to Jericho, I think some fans might forget that the start of it was MJF and Sammy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was always from day dot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like I would not be opposed to that.
Yeah, I'm itching for MJF versus Sammy.
Yeah, it has to happen at some point. I really hope it's going to be good when it does.
Oh, you know it will be.
So Marvez is backstage with the Bucks. Dom comes in and Nick is just like, I'm done with this, I'm out of here. So Dom just talks to Matt. And then he starts saying, yeah, you broke Kenny's heart because Kenny didn't choose AEW, he chose the Young Bucks. And then Don kind of ends this with bitch slapping Matt across the face. And Matt just kind of takes it. He kind of like grabs Don by the shirt at first and then just kind of lets go. And then Don's just like, you're fucking pathetic. And then just leaves Matt Jackson there to think about what a little bitch that he is.
But I think they got their comeuppance in the end. Unless this is just one big elaborate fucking scheme.
Oh, I was waiting for it. So we go into Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers versus the Lucha Bros and Laredo Kid. Backstage, the three luchadors cut promos, but Penta says...
What did Penta say?
I didn't take a note of it.
Penta says something in Spanish.
But I knew how much you love Penta says, so that was kind of my sidebar to letting you talk about it.
Penta says, I love it.
No, it's brilliant.
It just sounds the smug looks that Alex Abrahantes has on his face when he's translating.
Yeah.
It's fucking genius. It's so good.
he's like said it like he's the badass.
Aye. And this whole thing just completely came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did it for 1 week just to see how it went. And then it became like probably one of the most over things, and so now it's totally going to continue.
Oh, it's like one of my favourite things on Dynamite.
Yeah, it's perfect. And then maybe even it could spin out into a way of like Alex like kind of starting to go offbeat with what Penta says, and maybe doesn't translate it properly and gets Penta in any bad situations. Like, if you ever want to break the two of them up, like there's avenues you can go with sort of stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Kenny then comes out to the rip-off Bullet Club theme music without his title, and it was like, Kenny doesn't have his belt.
Oh,
and then you see Don with both of them, so that's cool. The Good Brothers attempt the Magic Killer, but Penta puts a stop to it. Kenny's then and hits a drop kick. Phoenix with a drop kick and Penta with a destroyer. Carl Anderson hits a spine buster, but Laredo comes off the top with a splash, breaking the count. Laredo almost dies doing a dive on Kenny Omega. Phoenix comes in with a drive-by kick to the face of Omega, then the Michinoku driver for a close 2 count by Laredo Kid on Kenny. But the V-trigger and the one-winged angel ends it. Mox then comes out after the match, and he is joined by the Young Bucks. And as you were kind of alluding to, this was the point where I was just like, I just kept going, wait for it. And then it cut to black, and I was like, they're going to pull it out a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Because obviously, I think we are all fully expecting double super kick to the face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of in two minds about it. Maybe they are just fed up with Kenny's shit and they are rebelling against Kenny, or it's just, as a friend of ours would say, it's a rouge.
It is pretty rouge. Friend of the podcast.
Best friend of the podcast.
You got to give the people what they want. So Dr. Britt Baker's backstage, and she just kind of cuts a promo on Rosa and talking about how her victory over Britt Baker meant nothing because it was unsanctioned.
Yeah.
Which is one of the best arguments in pro wrestling right now.
Mm-hmm.
Nyla Rose and the Bunny took on Tay Conti and Hikaru Shida. The Dark Order come out with Shida and Tay, and it's quite jarring to watch Dark Order because every week they come out, their numbers are dwindling because that's now 2 people in Dark Order injured.
Yeah. John Silver's injured now.
Mm-hmm.
It's his shoulder as well, isn't it?
Yeah, he dislocated his shoulder in that match a couple of weeks ago.
Fucking hell, sympathy pains with Anna.
Or was it last week? I think it was last week.
It was last week's episode, so Dynamite, yeah. So he's on the shelf with Anna. And
Maki Ito evidently just didn't want to join Dark Order and just went back to Japan.
She told them to go and fuck themselves.
Go fuck yourself, motherfuckers!
Oh, she's so funny.
I love her.
Hurry up and come back.
I know, Jesus. Stop being a bitch. Imagine, like, keeping all your entertainment and wrestling talent over in Japan. God. So thoughtless.
I know. You'd think that Tokyo Joshi Pro would have, like, a dojo in Jacksonville.
I know. Here, listen. Miko. Oh, wait, there's not... Miko? No, that's the wrong wrestler. Maki Ito. There you go.
Yeah, you're talking about Satomura there, weren't you?
Yeah, it was. Right, what's this? Hey, Maki Ito. What's that? Oh, what's that? Oh, it's a cannon monster. It's a cannon monster, Maki. Come and get it. Come and get it. Come on. She loves her cancelled monster.
She is a cannon monster.
That's what I look for. You know, if you go out, have a nice meal, you finish the night off with a nice cannon monster and a song.
Yeah.
Whoa. So all the dudes go at it at ringside because the Dark Order went out with Conte and Cheetah and the Hardy family organization were out with Nyla Rose and the Bunny. Tay hits the TKO for a 2 count as Nyla Rose breaks the pin. And while there was a massive scuffle on the outside, Buddy hits the kendo stick and down the rabbit hole for the victory on Tay Conti. And Bunny is now potentially in the conversation for a title shot.
About time. Because they said it like she's been totally neglected. And they're right.
Yeah, they are.
The last time she had like a match with any sort of meaning, she was part of the Nightmare Sisters.
Yeah, those matches didn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm. But Tay Conti, I thought, put in a fucking shift.
Tay Conti's been awesome recently. Like, I feel like she's really stepped up her game.
Yeah.
And I think it goes to show because, like, she's also now, she was number one. She may not be anymore. But I feel like that's made her, like, almost take this that bit more seriously or something.
Yeah.
Something that's came out in her recently.
Mm-hmm.
She had a barn burner of a match with Nyla Rose last week, and another great showing this week, and then also a match next week. So next week we're going to see Moxley and the Young Bucks taking on Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. The Bunny versus Tay Conti. Darby Allin will defend the TNT title against JD Drake. That's what you see, man. Now I think this match is going to steal the fucking show. Put me down. Mark my words, son. The Inner Circle will return, and then presented by Godzilla versus King Kong, the Jurassic Express take on Bear Country.
That's hilarious.
I know, it's brilliant.
But it kind of fits because TNT's owned by Warner Brothers. So I see where the advertisings came from.
Yeah.
And it is like a dinosaur against two big gorillas.
Bear gorillas.
Gorilla Burrs.
Did you see this this thing online? I can't believe I didn't send it to you, actually. It was the poster for Godzilla versus King Kong. And then they just added versus Daniel Bryan.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Onto the bottom, so just Godzilla versus King Kong versus Daniel Bryan.
That's funny.
I know. I kind of showed it to somebody last night. I think it was Kat, actually, and then I had to kind of explain it. It was just like because like it just seems like Daniel Bryan just keeps going in on feuds that don't seem to have anything to do with him.
Yeah.
So it's just like imagining a giant ass Daniel Bryan. Going for it. Just right, let's see. Share.
Godzilla versus Kong versus Goat.
Yeah. I shall put it in the chat. Where is it? Where is the chat? Yeah, for fuck's sake. Come on, there it is. Dink. And so with that, we come to the main event. And I've got to admit, like, I was not high on this main event coming into it. Boy, was I wrong.
This match was fucking great.
Yeah. So earlier in the match, Kip gets in through a polystyrene sign, and I have a heart attack and die. I can't stand the sound of polystyrene.
Oh.
I was about to throw my laptop through the fucking telly while it was just like I was like, stop, get away from it. Chuck brings out Legos at one point, and there was a big superplex off the top into the Legos.
Oh.
Which, yeah. always irks me. Not irks. Gives me the fucking heebs. Cassidy hits the beach break and kicks out. Orange then has the orange punch, but then Ford pulls out the referee and puts Cassidy into the nards. And this brings back the return of Chris Statlander, who is an alien who popped up out of a claw machine. The Claw. The Claw chooses who will go and who will stay.
So just this wee section of the match with Statlander and Ford, it was my favourite bit of the match.
It was good to have her back.
See how just that wee segment, that was like the highlight of the match for me.
Yeah. But like, I've been missing Statlander. I'm glad she's back. And then...
And she's changed her look up a bit as well with the face paint.
Yeah. And as Chris kind of brought up in the chat, there was a photo of the plexiglass that bounced off Penelope Ford's face.
Yeah, and it was just like a perfect copy of her makeup.
Guess that just kind of goes to show how much she wears.
Yeah, you need to wear makeup now. Now that 4K's a thing in television now.
Mm.
Even the men need to do it.
What is this, fucking Korea?
Good Korea or South, or good Korea or bad Korea? I was about to say good Korea or South Korea. That's boy, I did not mean to say that.
Jesus Christ.
Keisaki.
Oi. Oi. Well, thank fuck you, fucking stop yourself. Oh my god. Attorney Hill does not support the acts of any of the family of what's his face?
Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un. I mean, he's just so ornery.
No, that was his dad.
I know, but I would imagine that whole family would be pretty ornery.
Bad.
Oh, God. So Chris Statlander sends Ford through a table on the coming off the apron to the floor. And then this is the part where Miro is fighting with both Cassidy and Chucky T on the outside. And then I just start checking out all the awesome games that they have at ringside.
Yeah, the Mortal Kombat.
They had the Pac-Man, and I think they also had the original Mario Brothers. And Miro sets up a table as Cassidy and Chuck start kind of crawling out the arena very awkwardly and slowly. And then the van shows up.
Sue's back, but not Sue Young.
Sue's back, and some random guy just jumps out the back of the car and starts fighting people.
Sue Old and Trent.
Trent is back. Hold on. And Trent is back. I wanted to see if I could kind of do the affliction while kind of shouting. Miro tries to climb up Sue's van, but slips. And then Trent comes in with the attack. Miro picks up the the Mortal Kombat 2 game, which, you know, was a pile of wood. Because those things are fucking heavy.
Yeah, it would have just been the cabinet. It wouldn't have been the actual system.
Yeah. And then tries to throw that at Trent. Trent gets out of the way. Then he spears Miro through a table. Then Taylor with a running power slam through like half a dozen tables off the stage to the floor. 1, 2, 3. It's over. And then the show goes off the air with everybody giving the people what they want.
Woohoo!
So much so that they do it twice. One with Chris Statlander as well.
That was my favourite bit when Statlander got involved. But question.
Yes.
Is there any significance to them using the Pixies for Orange Cassidy?
I don't know. I don't understand it, but there's a lot of people online that seem to be like, this song is perfect for Orange Cassidy, and I'm like, is it?
The song's about losing your sanity.
Isn't it about doing drugs?
You're a lazy bastard.
Maybe he's losing your sanity because you're doing drugs.
I mean, because I thought the whole point of Orange Cassidy was it was basically just like a human sloth.
Yeah.
Not
these wasted on drugs.
Insanity.
Maybe it's a little column A, a little from column B.
Right, you have the belt, Griz. You don't need to keep fucking battering me over the head with it.
I use that in like everyday speech all the time, though, to be honest. I think that is like a little one of the perfect ones.
Yeah.
No, I don't really understand it either, but some people still kind of go on like, this is perfect for him, and like, is it? I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, I love the song. The song's a fucking banger, but I just don't see how it fits. But do you know what? It's not the worst thing in the world if I hear it every week.
Yeah, there's worse songs out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, another week done. Where do you see Chris Statlander coming in? What do you think is her 3-month program?
Well, I'm going to guess it's going to be with Fort. Unless Fort doesn't want any, then maybe go back to Statlander and Nyla.
Okay, yeah, because they were meant to have a match before Statlander got injured.
Yeah. I mean, they had a match at Revolution.
That's right, yeah.
Year, but they were supposed to have another match, then she hurted her knee.
She got hooded.
I think maybe just programming her with Nyla.
Mm-hmm.
Because they two have good matches together.
I think, starting off with Ford, getting a win over her, and then starting to move your way back up, and then maybe looking to try and have Statlander be in the title picture by Full Gear.
Yeah.
And then
maybe even all out.
Maybe. I'm thinking like maybe All Out should be Baker and Shida, where Baker wins the belt, and then we then go on to Full Gear with Statlander and Baker for the belt, and then maybe even Statlander winning there.
See, because I've been waiting for Baker to win the belt for so long, I would be extremely pissed off if they took it off her like 3 months later.
Yeah. Okay, well maybe even Revolution then.
Because I think we kind of came to the conclusion that Paige is going to beat Omega at Full Gear.
Yeah.
So maybe just have like one big massive title change instead of one where it's, oh yes, Paige finally won, and then it's like, oh no, Baker lost. I don't want to be sad that night.
Okay, let's do that then. We'll wait until Revolution. That's it's been decided by everybody.
Yeah, the AEW booking committee, Glasgow chapter.
Why did they never receive our emails?
I don't know. That's because Tony Khan's too busy shouting at Impact.
9 days! 9 days! 9 days!
I am the Forbidden Door! Blah, blah, blah.
Ah. I am the unknown forbidden door. You can't close me.
Oh, speaking of the Forbidden Door, fucking Jericho and Stone Cold.
Yeah.
That came out of fucking nowhere.
Now, let's talk about only your WWE and WCW career.
I mean, they have to mention AEW.
I know.
They can't ignore it.
See if it's going to be one of those kind of things where Austin asks Jericho, so what are you up to now? And Jericho's just like, this and that, and that's it. Like
wrestling down in Jacksonville.
Yeah. Well, a little bit down the road from Jacksonville is Florida, which is where NXT was held this week.
Okay.
I found a segue and I'm going to take it.
You found a segue and you fucked it.
Did I?
Yeah, you said, speaking of Jacksonville, just down from it, in Florida.
Yeah. God damn it. You know what I meant. In Tampa.
I actually think it's Orlando.
Who fucking cares? Also residing in Florida is NXT that happened this week. The penultimate edition of the Wednesday Night Wars. And I, for one, cannot wait. Next week's going to be difficult, but the week after WrestleMania, it's going to be smooth sailings, brother. And I cannot wait. So, this week's NXT started with Roddy Strong taking on Cameron Grimes. Last week, Cameron Grimes wanted to try and buy the intellectual property of the Undisputed Era with all of his cash money, which produced like a really funny segment where he came out and he's like, "Oh well, we can start releasing new T-shirts, new armbands. Maybe not call it Undisputed Era anymore. Maybe call it the Cameron Grimes era." And then Roddy punched him in the face, and he goes, "That's not how you do business, Roddy." So this led to the match this week, where Grimes came out, and he's got the new Grimes the System T-shirt, and he's like, "Oh, you think that's good? Listen to this." And then he goes, "Grimes the System." Wow. And then starts playing Cameron Grimes' theme music. This causes Roddy to go out, and then they start the match on the outside. But the closing part of the match came with Roddy Strong hitting an angle slam on Grimes, and then Grimes pulls out an Undisputed Era armband out of his trunks and leaves it in the ring. Then Roddy gets stopped, kind of looking at the armband, and is distracted long enough that Grimes connects with the cave-in. 1, 2, 3, and Grimey has picked up a victory over Roddy Strong.
Yay!
Cross has a build-up promo for next week, where it's just showing him working out. Ciampa, well, there was a promo about Ciampa, more so because it was a voiceover of Walter, as he was like, "Ciampa, at one point you were the best, and then you became a shell of your former self, and if the NXT title isn't a main focus for you anymore, then you're done, because the NXT UK Championship is my only focus, and the only focus is keeping this belt." So up next, Santos Escobar was out and has an open challenge, which was answered by Tyler Breeze. So there was a point where Breeze had Escobar in a submission, but Escobar breaks out, gets to the ropes, hits the Escobar driver, and gets the victory. And then Phantasma were about to go for a triple team on Breeze, but NSK returned to clear the ring. And then the Grizzled Young Vets come on the Tron and then start mouthing off about their two teams kind of going into their triple threat match for the tag titles at TakeOver. And then backstage, we get Johnny Gargano who starts talking about the sort of fate of his North American Championship. And then Theory goes, I've got an idea. Have you ever heard of the finger poke of doom? And Gargano goes, yes, I have heard of that. That killed the business. And Theory says, but we're still here. And Gargano goes, oh yeah, you're right. Okay, so like great. You win the Battle Royal, then you win the Eliminator, and then in night 2, it's going to be NXT TakeOver. Lie down for Johnny and let him pin you. So that's the theory right now going into this. They show videos of this teeny tiny little adorable dog kind of running around the Performance Center.
Mm-hmm.
We get them throughout the course of the night. Next match was The Way taking on Gigi Dolan, and I think Zeta Ramirez was her partner's name. This was an enhancement match with The Way picking up the win with the curb stomp and the elbow drop combo. And then The Way call out the tag team champions of the women's division for a match at Stand and Deliver. Backstage, Io and Raquel fight, and Raquel comes out with the advantage. There's the tiny good boy is then running around inside the CWC, kind of running through the gym. Roddy Strong is caught leaving the arena when Mackenzie asks what's going to happen with the Battle Royal. Roddy just kind of says, I'm done with everything, and he walks out. Next, Zoe Starks takes on Raquel Gonzalez. Starks hits a blockbuster for a close 2 count off the top rope, and then Gonzo hits her one-armed powerbomb for the victory, but yet another great showing from Zoe Starks. And then Io comes out again and is left laying again after being bounced off the plexiglass at ringside. We cut backstage again. Little fluffy boy is now running around in the gym. And then Kushida is interviewed and interrupted by Pete Dunne. Dunne says, I heard you say that you were the best technical wrestler, but you didn't accept my challenge when I threw that out to face the best technical wrestlers. And he's like, you have to go through me to prove that. And Kushida says, yes, but I have you tonight in the Battle Royal. So that's getting built up. There was a prime target for O'Reilly and Cole, which we'll probably see most of at the pay-per-view or the takeover, so I'm not going to get into it really. Casey and Kaden took on Xia Li and Mei Ying, but Mei Ying didn't leave her throne, so this kind of essentially became a 2-1 handicap match with Casey and Kaden trying their best to take out Xia Li. There was an insane looking lung blower from Casey, with Kaden then going up and getting in the face of Mei Ying. With Ying just kind of grabbing Kaden by the face and then breathing smoke into her face, knocking Kaden out on the ramp. Casey gets a knee, but then Xia Li gets her spinning kick, and Xia Li puts the two of them away. Up next, Gonzo is backstage and Io jumps Gonzalez again, but this time Gonzalez sends Io through a fucking wall.
Big Gonzo.
Little Fliff is back again, running around, and then stops at the big pink shoes of someone, and then across the television screen it says, See you April 13th. Frankie appears on screen. And it looks like we have a debut for the first NXT on Tuesday nights. Who is it going to be? Who is Frankie?
It's Kaz.
Oh my god.
I honestly don't know.
I think it's Taya.
Oh, that's a good shout, because the doggy.
Little Mindo.
Oh. Well, I think if it's Taya, I'll watch that episode.
Good shit. Will you be trying to peruse Takeover next week?
So, to be honest, I think I might actually watch Takeover in the place of Wrestlemania.
Oh. I still think you should come over here, though. If I'm being brutally honest.
I shall get back to you on that one.
To be honest, what you should do, you should just come over for Hardcore Justice and then leave.
Yeah.
Before any...
Yeah, that might actually just be a shout as well.
Like literally, you leave, Chris comes, and then the two you just tag in.
I have an appointment.
Got a doctor's appointment with the dentist. So we sit down with Ciampa backstage. Obviously, we didn't cover last week, so last week Walter and the rest of Imperium beat the hell out of Ciampa. And they ripped his necklace off. As soon as they ripped his necklace off, he frantically went for the necklace, not even trying to attack people. And he explained that the necklace was made by his wife and kid for the day that he was going in to get neck surgery. So, and he has been wearing that like all the time. It's kind of it's a little memento to life. And then Ciampa kind of says, "Do you want to know where the black heart is? Do you want to know where the psycho killer Kiske is? And if he's still about?" Well, Walter, you will find out next week.
I get the feeling he's not far away.
Well, Walter, you better run away. Aye. And then that brings us on very swiftly to our main event of the evening, the first stage of the Eliminator. Now with 11 people in the ring because Roddy Strong has essentially quit by the sounds of things. So Isaiah Swerve Scott makes his way to the ring, only get jumped by Leon Ruff. But because it's Battle Royal, like, Swerve Scott gets put over the top rope, but doesn't get eliminated because it ain't Royal Rumble rules. It's Battle Royal. So we come back, everybody else has made their way to the ring, and here we go, ding, 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 the match is officially started. And what we'll do is we'll kind of jump to the sort of latter half of the match where we start looking at the final six that get involved. At one point, Theory gets knocked out of the ring. He lands on his back, so he's still technically in because his feet haven't hit the floor. And he's like, "Oh man, I need to get to the ring stairs." So he's like starts like kind of shuffling about. He's like, "I know what to do. I got it." And then keeps up, eliminating himself.
Idiot. I love it.
During this match, also Kushida and Pete Dunne eliminate each other, being two of the favourites. That was actually quite surprising. And then we take another commercial break. We come back, and then it's announced that Kushida takes on Pete Dunne at TakeOver.
Called it.
Yeah, I know. Well done. Congratulations. Winner me. Welcome to Turning Heel ASMR. So, the final six. The final six are Grimes, Ruff, Scott, Loomis, LA Knight, and Bronson Reed. As soon as the bell rang, or the match started. That's clearly how those two got combined together. Loomis did not leave his corner and just stood there the entire time in the corner just staring. And everybody just kind of left him alone and done their own thing. Which worked out. It worked out when you only had 11 people in the Battle Royal, though.
Yep.
Because Roddy left, so everybody was kind of paired with somebody.
And even if Roddy was in the match, he wouldn't go after Loomis.
No. He's had his lumps. So eliminated first, which means that they will be the first in the gauntlet, is Leon Ruff, which was followed very quickly by Swerve Scott. So Leon Ruff and Swerve will be the first two to enter the Eliminator, with number 3 in the Eliminator being Reed, then number 4 being Grimes, then LA Knight gets Loomis over the top and then hangs up Dex on the ropes. So then Knight then runs at Dex trying to put him out. Dex pulls the second rope down, sending LA Knight to the floor, but then he's like, hold on, I'm not eliminated from here. So he just grabs Dexter Loomis's legs out from under him, yanks him down on the floor, and Dex is officially eliminated because he did go over the top. So LA Knight uses the smarts, gets the victory, and LA Knight will be the 6th entrant into the Eliminator, making Loomis the 5th, and giving LA Knight the biggest odds to go on to night 2 of TakeOver for the North American Championship. But we are not done yet, because Io is back out again. She calls out Gonzo, and once again, the two of them go at it for the 4th time tonight. All the no-name wrestlers of the women's division come out to try and break it up. And this gives Io the opportunity to dive over the ropes onto all the bodies on the outside and stand tall, going into their main event match next week at TakeOver. So, mon frere, we got one more thing to do.
What's that?
We got to run down that stand and deliver card, yo.
Yay! I do like predictions.
I mean, this is a pretty action-packed event, so...
I mean, in comparison to WrestleMania, they should have called this WrestleMania.
Oh, well, that's going to be interesting when we need to try and get your WrestleMania predictions done.
See how if I just watch the new Legacy simulation of WrestleMania, can I just give you my thoughts on that instead?
Wow, that would be a podcast.
I've already watched it, and the game crashes like 6 times during the stream. It's fucking hilarious.
Fantastic. That's exactly what you want.
And it kept happening during the main event.
Fuck's sake. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you play with a broken game.
Mm-hmm. But it's funny.
Okay, so here we go. Pete Dunne versus Kushida 1-on-1.
Gonna pick Kushida.
Yeah, I think he probably deserves it. MSK, Wesley and Nash Carter take on the Grizzled Young Veterans of James Drake and Zach Gibson, taking on Legado del Fantasmas, Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde for the vacated NXT Tag Team titles.
I'm going to go with the Grizzled Young Vets.
I feel like I need to go with MSK.
I feel bad for the Grizzled Young Vets. They made it to the finals last year and lost. They made it to the finals this year and lost.
Yeah.
Zach Gibson won the... He won the tournament, didn't he? The United
Yeah,
Kingdom
the second
tournament.
one.
To fight Pete Dunne and lost. So I feel as though Zach's due something.
You make a good argument, but yeah, and I probably wouldn't be too disappointed in them winning, although I'm not the most entertained by them these days. Gibbo's good. James Drake is just whatever. Then we get Leon Ruff, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes, Dexter Lumis, and L.A. Knight in a 6-man gauntlet eliminator to determine the number 1 contender for the North American Championship at the second night of TakeOver.
I'm going to pick Lumis.
I feel like that has to be it because That's
the feud. That's the feud. Yeah.
I also agree. It's I'm aware it's annoying when we're agreeing, so I'll go for the outside shot of LA Knight. But I do think that it needs to be Lumis.
Mm-hmm.
Walter takes on Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT UK Championship.
I'm going to throw a span on the works here and say Ciampa.
Interesting. If that means that he goes back to the UK with it and then does a wrestle down there every now and again, that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I will go with Walter for this one, but I think this match could potentially steal the show.
Yeah.
Considering
the main event doesn't.
Yeah, I was going to say, considering your main event is going to be Io Shirai defending against Raquel Gonzalez, defending the NXT Women's Championship.
Big Gonzo.
Yep. I called this a good while ago.
You did. You called this months ago.
Like the whole thing, Tony's going to get a rematch and lose, and then it's going to be Gonzo. The way that it came about was probably not the same way that I thought it would have been, but it happened. So now, and back then I did say Gonzo's going to win, and I still think she has to.
It's Gonzo time.
Yes. Io has had that belt for a long time.
Almost a year.
Yeah. Definitely like 3/4 of it, but it's closer to a year than not. Mm-hmm. So, night 2 sees Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart defending the Women's Tag Team Championships against Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell of The Way.
I'm going to go with The Way.
Okay. I mean, I can't really stray away from my Bay that much.
Yeah, that's why I picked The Way.
I appreciate it. I don't think that this is going to be the order that these matches happen on night 2, so I'm just going to kind of get into it. Mm-hmm. Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly in an unsanctioned match.
I'm going to go with Adam Cole.
Okay. Interesting.
Because I'm such a big fan of O'Reilly.
Yeah.
But there's methods to my madness here.
Okay, well, you know what? Why don't you enlighten us with as much detail as you feel like?
Well, I think Cole's going to win, and then basically Kyle's going to be like a tug with 2 dicks, trying to get back at Cole and beat him, to then be eligible to then challenge for the NXT Championship. Against prediction, I'll let you know later on. But no, I think this is going to be a chase for O'Reilly, and Cole's just going to be like that, wee one step ahead of him until the day comes when O'Reilly finally beats Cole and then gets back on track and goes for the NXT champion.
Right, it helps if I take myself off of mute, doesn't it?
Yes. Yes.
I said, like, that does sound good. And then there's like, oh, wait, no. I'm not, not unmuted. Yeah, so do you see maybe in the future Adam Cole maybe winning his third NXT title? And then the big crowning moment is Kyle O'Reilly beating Cole for the belt?
Yeah, that's a possibility as well, yeah. Yeah.
Because that's kind of how I feel. I feel that if it's going to be the kind of thing where Cole beats O'Reilly, I do think O'Reilly might end up winning this. But if you want to throw a spanner in the works and have Cole win and be like, see, told you. So now back to what I'm interested in, the NXT title.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of goes from there. So up next would be Johnny Gargano against the winner of the Gauntlet.
I picked Loomis to win the Gauntlet, and I'm picking Loomis to win the title.
See, again, like, that's what I feel. I feel like...
Because this is what was meant to happen last year, I think Loomis was supposed to be your North American champion last year in that big ladder match.
Yeah, because he was the big one belt going in.
Yeah.
I know it's not as fun as usual, these prediction things, because I genuinely agree with you on every pick that you're making. The NXT Cruiserweight Champion Jordan Devlin will take on the interim NXT Cruiserweight Champion Santos Escobar in a unification match. In a ladder match.
Aye, yeah, unification ladder match. And I'm picking the Irish Ace.
Me too, again. Because clearly they are very high on Jordan Devlin. So
that's because he's good.
He is great. He's really found his step in and has definitely stepped out the shadow of being Finn Balor Jr.
Yeah, he's no longer Baby Balor.
And with speaking of Balor, he takes on Karrion Kross for the NXT Championship.
Fall and pray.
100% agree. Karrion Kross needs this so badly.
I don't think he needs it badly. I think it's more of a personal redemption.
But like, I feel like he needs it badly in the way that just his title run was cut short. Injury. Yeah. The fact that he even won the match while still injured was fucking insane. But now, like, again, like with Io versus Gonzo, ever since Cross came back, it's like he needs to take that belt the second that he gets his shot. Mm-hmm. And I think it needs to happen here.
Yeah, I'm fully behind Cross to win. I want him to win. I think he's going to win. I need him to win.
Yeah. Yes, all of those. And that is NXT TakeOver. That is a card and a half.
That is a fucking... They call these big shows super cards, but this is a super duper card.
Super duper duper card.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm admittedly looking forward to WrestleMania. I mean, probably just more for the prospect of just, it's going to be a weekend of wrestling. So, obviously we'll get into WrestleMania next week when we're kind of doing the rest of the shows. I don't really know how we're going to do shows next week, but we'll figure something out. We'll see what we can get done.
Yeah.
But believe you me, everything will be covered at some form of fashion.
We will get there. It may not happen right away, but we will get there.
Oh yeah. And with that is to say, is tying everything up in a neat little package.
So is this where I steal lines and go, is it time to wrap this shindig up?
I would say it is.
Oh!
See. Yeah,
To the moon!
To the moon.
Remember, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Heel Podcast. And also, don't forget, you can hear our archives on the World Wide Web at heelpodcast.co.uk. Well, that's all, folks. So long. Have a good day.